Welcome back to the 90 More podcast. Manchester United have suspended Antony from the squad. They have released an official statement claiming that Manchester United acknowledges the allegations made against Antony. He will delay his return until further notice in order to address the allegations going on, as the club will condemn acts of violence and abuse. The player as well has also released an official statement in response to what Manchester United have put out, and he says, Antony, official statement, I have agreed with Manchester United to take a period of absence while I address the allegations made against me. This was a mutual decision. I want to reiterate my innocence of the things I have been accused of. I will fully cooperate with the police. To join me in the discussion is my big friend right here, and I'm going to be diving into that one. Is Antony's career at Manchester United over?
Maybe I would like to greet the viewers.
Absolutely.
Outside.
Yeah.
I'm Vincent. You know I'm new here, but we are going to be working together. Personally, I believe it is the end of Antony at Manchester United for two reasons. We've seen Greenwood setting a precedent. Right now, what they are doing, it is almost money is known now for that. If you're violent, you're not going to be at United. So I believe what Antony has done, to me, simply without thinking about a lot of logic and questioning a lot of things, it's like at the end. And you've seen that even in the statement, they have highlighted that they will give him time
to settle the allegations.
But
and
you remember, even when we were dealing with the Greenwood issue, still they said Greenwood is out for investigations. For us, we are going to keep him out of the pitch for some good time. But even after police proving that
he was innocent.
Guy was innocent, United continued and they said, for them, they know he's innocent. They are not accusing him that committed the offenses, but the issue is he was eliminated from the squad. Maybe because of the pressure from fans and other people. You know, Europe is not like any other world. That's why he would not have struggled the way he's going to do at United if maybe he was in Spain or maybe in Brazil. I don't know, but I feel like his career at United ends here.
I think it comes at a very bad time, but it's a moral question rather than one where you can vindicate him, on the spot. And Man United dropping him believe that the morals they have displayed while judging Mason Greenwood issue, there should be the same parameters, there should be the same morals they display in this one. I want to ask you, morally, do you think it is right for Man United to suspend him without an official conviction from the Brazilian police?
My point is, right now, already he was suspended from the Brazilian team.
Yeah, he was.
Which means there is something. Here they say, where you see smoke, there
is fire.
Something
there is fire.
burning.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe. Nowadays they create smoke, artificial, but normally.
Smoke screens are everywhere. You've got
but the point is, after being maybe suspended from the Brazilian team, I don't know whether he was dismissed for good or it is just.
I think he was again set aside because he was initially called, but then he was dropped from the squad, which means that there was some kind of development. It shows that in recent hours, we have had recent developments. We have had huge developments in the case. Probably we have not actually been told the extent of the developments to keep the investigation safe and everything. But a statement from Brazil dropping him, a statement from Manchester United dropping him, it shows there is evidence. Probably not evidence, but there is a huge development in the case.
Actually, Man is going to face like two challenges. One, it will be the pressure from the British media. They'll be like, you know what? You dismissed our boy. He's coming from here, but
and he was proven innocent as well.
Yes. Now it is going to be the same issue. They would like to see from this case of Antony. But still, we have a pressure. I've been reading somewhere, and the girl who accused him for
initially,
she was like, she reported this case to United some time back. But I don't know why. She was like, I don't know why Man United took this long to react.
I actually saw that.
This guy would have been dropped from the squad some good time back, following what was done to Mason Greenwood. So I believe it is going to be the same case. They will not wait for official conviction or what.
They'll just
since it is now out in the media, they had nothing to do. They had nothing.
Concerning the victim, and I have two questions here, 2 points to discuss about. Personally, I'm not okay with players going on to have good careers and then allegations come out at that point in time. So I'll give you an example of Ben Mendy, but then I'll give you an example of Antony as well. Antony has been an Ajax and he's been a star, and I think he's had better performances for Brazil and club at Ajax as compared at Man United.
Than at United.
I want to know if these allegations actually took place before he came to Europe. Why do they come out at this point in time? That is number one. Number two, the girl says that she reported to Man United and therefore Antony should have been dropped a long time ago. Man United do not have a moral responsibility to listen to her. She is not a source to Man United, and she cannot be a source to Man United because I don't think they were engaged. I don't think they were wife and husband as well.
I cannot go with the statement the girl released,
Yeah.
saying that Man United would have taken action some good time back because of one good reason. United do not work like any other institution. It's a big club. This is a company.
It's a big institution.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yes. So I think they would listen to the police more than someone accusing. If she wanted her case to be heard by anyone, it would have been coming from the authority, like the way it has been. Because right now it is being handled by the police. It is under investigation now. So I think here they can listen and they say maybe they did something. Because not everyone is going to just come and say, guy, not everyone is going to just come and say, guy, the next time it will be Rashford. Maybe Rashford did it ABCD to me. It should come from an authentic source for United to take action. That's why I think they delayed. But the other question of why now, in the law, I'm not a lawyer. But what I know, in the law, you're not going to commit any offense and then you say maybe with the time it will disappear.
It will never. It always comes back.
For us, we're not going to ask why
now.
Why not now? Those questions are no longer applicable here. The point is, he is going to be answerable to what he did. If
why I'm actually asking why now is because I'm looking at the career paths of players that have been accused of violence, right? And I'm looking at Mendy. Mendy is one hell of a guy who comes from wherever he comes from, and he ends up at Manchester City, one of the most expensive defenders in Premier League history by then. And you look at his career is settling, right? And boom, something happens and he mistreated me, he violated me, he physically abused me, right? It's something coming up with Antony. Maybe Mason Greenwood is different, but we know something happened, something very similar happened with Thomas Partey. My question is, why the delay and why wait for the big move? Is there a financial perspective in this that he's now going to Man United, he's going to earn 10 times what he's been earning at Ajax, therefore this is the right time to strike?
Could be. It will depend on someone now he's accusing. But the point is, maybe at Ajax, it was not as strict as it is at United. Following what happened, maybe this girl just observed that now I have the opportunity of showing the world that this guy is actually like this, and it is not now one person. They are now three, so they are now all of them are coming out proving the same thing, talking about him being violent or insulting girls. So we cannot ask why it is now, because we have a broad daylight. Is it in the law? It is called precedent. It was set by Greenwood. So it is known that United will not deal with such and such character. Maybe that was the spirit upon the guidance to the girlfriend or the former girlfriend, but she came out right now to United. It is a good opportunity. But even if you talked about financially, it works. It works. It makes a lot of money. And I don't know. Ajax was good, but he was not paid the way he's earning at United. So it can be also financial. But I've seen this thing happening to Cristiano some time back. The same issue, something related to that.
Cristiano, Karim Benzema.
Yes, and
I think Benzema and a fellow national, French national teammate assaulted a 16-year-old, and it was swept under the carpet.
So it will depend now where you are. I told you, maybe in Netherlands, it could not make a lot of good news or no here. You talked about Thomas Partey. Partey was not even dropped from the Arsenal squad because
Arsenal stood their resolve and they said, you want us to drop our player, you want to make these allegations have an impact, you've got to prove them. You've got to provide enough for us to drop them. And there wasn't enough.
Maybe I would like to give you an example. It will depend now on the institution. Every institution has its own values, and they stand by them. You remember, Arsenal, when it came to Mesut Ozil's problem, the other time that was talking about with how Muslims are being mistreated in Asia, Arsenal had to drop Ozil instantly. When it came to insulting, is it called assault allegations that came with the Thomas Partey? Arsenal was like, this is not a big deal. Maybe to Arsenal, it was not a big deal, and they were like, should first bring proof on table, and then we shall have to drop him. So at United, maybe the case would have been different the way they would have handled the Mesut Ozil's issue. Maybe for them, they do not consider income from the Asian guys, and so it would have been different at United than it is
Actually,
at Arsenal.
actually,
My point is, at United, maybe for them, what they prioritize now, it is something to do with respecting women, giving them what they deserve to earn, the society. And that's why maybe they must take a serious action when it comes to assault.
There are two questions here, and one of them is, does the arrival of new women, two more women, onto the scene of this case make it stronger, or does it dilute it down? Because personally, I don't think he assaulted all the three. I think there is malice in the arrival of these other two. I think the first one is the real victim. I think there is these other two could have had connections, right? It's simply the way a wealthy man dies and everyone he slept with comes out and says, the kids I have are his.
Yeah, okay. The point is, you see, sometimes I can do anything to you and you decide to believe it. You keep quiet about it. But I can do the same thing to someone else. And they don't have to be, I will have to face the consequences. So maybe it is the spirit, someone who managed, because this lady is having a bigger profile when you read. She's a bank somewhere working with an institution that is recognized in the society. So even in terms of money, they have. So it was very easy for her to complain and to be heard. Maybe others never had that chance. So I think it is like a concretizing the offense, because in the courts of law, they'll be like, yeah, this is official, it was filed officially, but then we are having other people,
other cases. The problem,
yes, for them, they are also saying, they are proving that this guy is actually violent.
But the problem in that is, if one of these two, I'll call them accomplices at the time, if any or both of these two accomplices that come out do not prove to be as strong as the first case, right, or do not prove to actually be true at all, then it means that the court will look at this in a way that there is malice, right, involved.
It will depend now on someone who is going to be seated there listening to this, to both sides. Because you see, someone who, it comes back to the interpretation. Because someone who interpret like you, that maybe
there is malice.
The accumulation in the number means that maybe these people are just opportunists.
But
the other one would say, we were still handling this case,
and now
this one woman,
and
and now they are others, and
so
they are all
claiming the same.
You see, they are claiming the same issue, which means it can be both. It can be maybe something that is going to dilute the case, or something that will add more value to it. People looking at it as someone who is actually very violent towards women, or looking at it the other way around. I think it will depend on someone who who will be in charge of now judging what is truth. Because to me, I can take it the other way around.
We've actually talked about Greenwood, and I think Greenwood plays a huge part. Part in this role. Do you think Antony is kind of unlucky? Because Man United have now drafted a template on how to deal with this case, and whether or not his case, really fits into that template, it's the same template they've got to use, because they've already had a player who's been very popular among the fan base, who's been very popular among the media as one of the up and coming young talents for Britain. And he's literally been condemned to destruction. Do you think it won't matter what comes out? It's the same template, and therefore Antony is done?
I talked about the British media.
Yeah, true. I mean,
the pressure from them.
The way they condemn him. They're going to condemn him at every opportunity they get.
You see, the way it was handled with the British media, Greenwood's case, it was painted like money was too harsh.
Yeah, I know.
It's coming from Britain. Should not question. So in case United doesn't do the same, you see it will be very, very, very criticized by every media. You've seen how Sky Sports was writing about Greenwood's case. Actually, it was trending that money was too harsh to send off Greenwood. But for them, they could not violate the values.
One of the things that made their judgment a little bit loose is the reception he got from Getafe. And of course, there is a section that says Greenwood shouldn't be part of La Liga, shouldn't be part of Getafe. But there's been that section that has really welcomed him very well. And maybe people was Man United a little bit, out of hand here?
So a combination of 2 points, British media and then the precedent,
they mentioned
would determine the fate of this guy. And I think Anthony has been very unlucky. It came at a very wrong timing.
Yeah. It comes at a very bad time.
I just feel like it is the end of his career at Manchester United.
United.
If it is possible, maybe he could look for options in Saudi Arabia or talking about any other league. But Premier League, I feel like it is the end of him.
So, I mean, again, this poses a question. Among many of the culprits that have been, or suspects actually, that have been accused, we've had less successful cases as compared to the failed ones, right? But regardless of whether you have won the case or lost it, your career is, just drowns through down the tunnel. So the big question is, if he's found innocent, what should happen? Morally, as a person, you are CEO at Man United, you do an internal investigation and Antony is innocent, and police do their own and they find him innocent. Do you just follow the template with which you judge the Greenwood case? Or do you actually go, how about we keep him? Because he's innocent on both ends.
Greenwood was proven innocent.
Man United have said that their internal investigation found that there were a few things that were not streamlined, and therefore they felt that the best decision was to let him go. So internally, if they find Antony innocent, can he come back to the squad?
You as United maybe would like, because Antony is a very good player at United.
He is. I mean,
very talented. I mean, exciting. Yeah. But because of the precedent and then the pressure from the media and the entire, you told us for you don't tolerate such
you don't
even if they are proven guilty or not. Yeah. So the only solution they have right now is dismissing Antony, and unfortunately, so I feel like it is the end of Antony at United.
So there's a point that I think about Man United, and it's a bit of being unlucky. Mason Greenwood, by the time he was, accused of the crimes, his trajectory was on the up, and you could think by the time he was worth around maybe 70 million euros. That's an academy product that you're going to make 100% profit on if you decided to sell, right?
Yeah.
It's a very different case with Antony, who is an asset that Man United have invested 100 million euros plus so far in, right? His contract is still running. It can be terminated. There's no question about that. But could Man United then think about this in a financial perspective, that if he's not found guilty, because again, terminating his contract means that you're just losing 85 million pounds, within the blink of an eye. So could they look at this in a financial perspective, and could finances actually have a huge factor in what comes out of this?
Exactly. They will look at it in the financial perspective, but still, PR for the club moves hand in hand with exactly what they are expecting. Sure. Are you deciding to spoil the name of the club? Maybe it may hurt other chances that would be coming to the club. Or you accept and you take the loss of 85 million and it ends there. Because here I've made a statement, and people who believe in the rights of women and people that that do not tolerate anything to do with the violence, they will of course stand with you. They will say, United is like that. Now we know it must be that way. And so I believe they would go with the other option of letting him go.
Let him go, take the losses.
They stay with their pure PR that is speaking and standing. It is very prominent now. United will dismiss you in case of doing ABCD. So people will stand with United and they will make money out of it. Trust me, over time, if they do that, it will be like they are consistent. They are doing that to anyone who is proven like that.
Does this case show some kind of weakness against, on Manchester United's side? You've signed a player, 2 years in, he's going to be a loss on a case that you could have, actually, I think, dealt away with if you had done enough groundwork before signing him. Do you think it was because they signed him as a kind of a panic buy? Do you think that has cost them?
I think actually clubs must now start to be curious about these things, because they will start
the life, the personality,
they need to go back and investigate what has been happening before maybe having that deal.
And that's a weakness in
at the end of the day. Right now, United is going to suffer losses because of what exactly? they eliminated that stage of doing
Yeah.
background
Yeah.
check on the player, and right now it is going to be costly to the team. So I believe clubs must take it serious, but even United, I think they did not do it. So after skipping that step, that's why they have to go back now. It's going to be dropped and it will affect the entire squad.
Thank you so much for watching the 90 More podcast. We are available on TikTok, Twitter, now X, Facebook as well, and YouTube. What should happen with Antony? Let us know in the comment box below. It's a very interesting discussion. I think, personally, Antony might just get out of this. I mean, there's so many people already judging him and out there on social media, and the template on Mason Greenwood is already having its stall. But what if? Just what if he's innocent? What should happen with Antony? We'll speak to you right in the next one.
Bye-bye.